Hello everyone and welcome to our presentation. My name is Syed and I will be starting us off today by walking you through the context and purpose of our research, which covers the background of the study and our problem statement. If you look at the top left of our poster under background, our research begins with the rapid shift from traditional face-to-face learning to virtual environments and a migration that was massively accelerated by COVID-19 pandemic. Because of this sudden global change, platforms like Microsoft Teams and VLEs evolved overnight. They went from being just optional software to becoming an absolute tools of our daily education. Now, while this transition offered students a lot of great flexibility, allowing us to balance our schedule and study from anywhere, it also introduced a very complex set of challenges. This brings us directly to our problem statement. The biggest issue we identified, especially for an institution like UniKL and MIIT, is the severe disruption of specialized training. This brings us directly to our while a standard theoretical lecture is easy enough to move onto the computer screen, it is incredibly hard to move on hands-on practical subjects online. Things like IT workshops, hardware configuration, and cybersecurity labs require a tactile learning. Furthermore, when we start this research, the true side effect of this shift were still very unclear. We want to investigate exactly how this virtual setup was affecting students' interaction, how students were coping with digital distraction at home, and whether this online simulation were actually effective replacement for physical lab work. That gap in understanding is exactly why we conduct this study. I will now pass the presentation over to my team member who will discuss about our research objective and literature review.
Okay, so my name is Muhammad Irfan Mumaisa, and then I will present about the research objective and question. For the first one, we come up with impact and education level. For the research objective, we identify the effect of online classes on the student education level. And then the RQ that we come up is what is the specific impact of online classes on student overall education level. And number two, it is quality of education. The RO that we come up with to evaluate the effectiveness of education quality for students during online classes. And then the RQ that we come up is how effective is the quality of education provided to students during online classes. And then number three is measurable outcome for academic grades. The RO that we come up is to determine the outcome of the visual learning on student academic grades. And then the RQ is what are the measurable outcome of visual learning towards student academic grades. Okay, right now I will pass to the literature review section.
Okay, thank you. My name is Muhammad Arsaikal bin Mata, and I will present about insight from previous studies. For the first one is Shift VLE, Virtual Learning Environment. The first one is forced transition. The migration to online platforms was an involuntary sudden shift, primarily driven by the COVID-19 pandemic. The second one is platform design matters. Well-designed online learning platforms have the potential to boost student GPAs. And the last one is preference for hybrid. Despite the benefits of VLEs, students and educators generally prefer a hybrid learning model over a fully remote one. So the next one is digital distraction. Off-task multitasking, students frequently engage in non-academic activities during class time. Constant self-distraction, the online environment makes it highly challenging for students to sustain focus, leading to continuous self-distraction. Inequities, socio-economic and environmental gaps heavily influence success, specifically regarding access to reliable internet and a quiet study place. So the third one is social isolation and mental health. Loss of human connection, remote learning severely disrupt peer networks and essential face-to-face human interaction. Emotional strain, being isolated creates significant emotional stress for students. Mental fatigue, the combination of prolonged screen time and lack of traditional classroom engagement leads to widespread mental exhaustion. And the last one is academic performance. Higher failure risk without a physical classroom structure. There is a higher risk of academic failure. Demand of self-control. Succeeding in this environment requires an immense amount of student self-discipline and autonomy. And the last one is the environment as a barrier rather than a facilitating education. The virtual environment itself often acts as roadblock to effective learning. Next, I will pass to the next presenter.
Okay, now I will continue about the methodology section. So as shown, to investigate this issue, we utilize a quantitative cross-sectional survey design. So our target for respondents were undergraduate UniKL MIT students who are actively using this online education platform such as Teams. As for our research instrument, we deploy a structured questionnaire utilizing a 5-point Likert scale. This allows us to quantitatively measure 3 core dimensions, which is the first one, PLE efficiency, digital tool helpness, class interaction, and the replacement value of virtual labs. That's all for the methodology. I will pass to the next.
Okay, my name is Muhammad Zari bin Mansur. So today I will explain the findings and future direction of our study. For the first research question, flexibility versus disruption, we found that online learning gives students more flexibility. Students did not need to travel to campus, so they could save time and avoid the stress of commuting. However, there were also some challenges. Subjects like programming and networking were harder to learn online because students often needed more guidance and hands-on practice. For research question 2, tools versus virtual labs, students generally found tools such as Microsoft Teams and the Virtual Learning Environment or VLE useful for communication, sharing notes, and managing coursework. On the other hand, virtual labs were not as effective as physical labs. Students reported problems such as lag, simplified simulation, and the lack of hands-on experience. Some students also felt disconnected because many participants kept their camera off and feedback from lecturer was sometimes slower. For the last research question, grades versus motivation, open book tests help students maintain good grades and protect their GPA during online learning. However, good grades did not always mean students fully understood the topic. Many students also reported feeling less motivated because of long hours in front of screen and fewer opportunities to interact with friends and lecturers. That's all for me, so I will pass the next presenter.
Okay, my name is Muhammad Asrar Kuzaifi and I will talk about conclusion and recommendation. So we can conclude that online learning is flexible and effective for theory-based subject, but it cannot fully replace practical classes and lab session. Challenges such as technical issues, limited interaction, and low motivation can also affect students' learning experience. Okay, so based on this finding, there are 3 recommendations. The first one is hybrid learning. We can use a hybrid approach by conducting theory class online and practical session face-to-face. This helps students gain both flexibility and hands-on experience. The second one is boost live interaction. Lecturers should encourage more discussion, Q&A session, and group activities during online classes. This can improve engagement and reduce student isolation. And the last one is improve feedback loops. We provide regular and timely feedback on student work. This helps students identify areas for improvement and stay motivated throughout the course. And for future research, there are also recommendations. So we can expand sample size, where we include more students from different institutions for more reliable result. And we also use mixed method to combine survey and interview to gain broader and deeper insight. And we also can do a conduct interview. This to help researchers better understand student experience and challenge with online learning. So that's all from us. Thank you so much.